2nd of November, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay. Sorry. We are we're starting in the Gemora. It's the last narrow line before you get to the wide lines. It's right in the middle of the line. Lokach hemenu b'mishkal.
You want Loma Hamenu Mishkal.
Lokach hemenu b'mishkal. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Alan, you're on 115A1, the last 3 words on the page on the right. And then I'm going to turn the page right away.
115A1, what is it now?
The last 3 words on the right.
Last three words?
Yeah, Lokach Hemenu Mishkal. And then you have to turn the page for the English translation of it.
Sell me the innards of a cow? Is that it?
Wait a second. We said just the Hebrew. Lokach Hemenu Mishkal. The 3 Hebrew words on the right bottom of 115A1. And then you have to turn the page for the English translation of those 3 words.
All right. So start off with sell me the innards of a cow.
No.
Let him start from there. We'll start from there and we'll keep going. That's okay.
All right. Sell me the innards of a cow, or you, or hen, matnos, and the Kohanic gifts were among them. Nos non le Kohen, no menakev lo min hadomin. The buyer gives them a Kohen, gives to them a Kohen. The buyer gives to them a Kohen, and he does not deduct the value of the Kohanic gifts from the purchase price. Lokach a morneh b'miskorn. However, he bought the cow's innards from the butcher by weight. Nos no lichain umanakeh lo min hadomin. The buyer gives the Kohanic gifts to a Kohen, and he deducts the value from the purchase price. Rav. And Rav said an explanation of the last ruling, which implies that the buyer can collect compensation only from the butcher and not from the Kohen. Lo shono elo sheshukel. They taught that the buyer has no right to compensation from the Kohen, only where he weighed the innards for himself. Aval shekal lo ha'toabach. But if the butcher weighed the innards for him, hadin im the claim of the Kohen is against the butcher. That is, he can sue only the butcher if he wants to collect the gifts from the buyer. He must pay for them.
Okay. So in this second case, the sale is lokach hemenu b'mishkal. If he took a certain amount of meat from the to buy, and they did it according to the weight of the meat.
Right.
He didn't ask for the innards. He I guess he asked for give me 2 kilos of meat. And also in this case, in this 2 kilos of meat that the butcher gave him, we're talking about a case where there was matanus that should be given to the Kohen contained in those 2 liters that was sold to the lokeach. So now in this case, where they weighed where the sale was according to the weight of the meat. So now it says nosna lekohen. Nosna lekohen. The buyer gives the portions of the meat that he bought that are matnas kahuna, that are designated for giving to the Kohen. He gives it to the Kohen. And in this case, it says menakelo minadomim. In this case, the butcher that sold him over here, he will deduct from the price that he charged the lokeach to account for the fact that the weight, right? Let's say a quarter of the liter. Let's say a quarter of the 2 liters was matnas kahuna meat that was given to the Kohen. So that the value of that 1/4, which let's say that will work out to right 1/8 of 2 liters. So he's gonna take off 1/8 of the price that he charged the lokeach in that case. Okay, there's no Rashi over here. And then now you'll right. So it would seem, what's the difference between these 2 cases? The first case, there was no deduction made. In the second case, there is a deduction made. Rashi doesn't tell us over here, but presumably the reason is that we don't have the mastama that Rashi told us in the case where he bought from him a me'eha. In the case where he said, sell me a certain cut of meat.
Okay, so there is Rashi's on this. So shall I try to read Rashi's? You do have Rashi's. Okay.
Well,
The Rashi starts with Shana, that it's not different.
Okay, but
That is it, because the key is the mishkal. That's the difference, whether he weighed it or not. So
that's what Rab's explanation is.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, let's read that. Fine. Read that. Fine.
So Lashano, it was not only in this case, Lakach Himenu the Mishkal, that he took it from him, that he weighed it. No name, okay, and he gives it to the Kohen. Who Yitaveh Damim, he will claim the money min ha mocher, from the seller. So he's getting it from. He has to make a claim against the butcher. Rather, he waited by himself. He waited.
Okay,
This is who is, but whatever.
He will claim the money from the mocher. Do not get it. He'll claim the money from the mocher. Why does he? I don't understand. Why does he claim the money from the mocher? The mocher deducted 1/4 of the price to account for the matnas kahuna. So he didn't sell him the matnas kahuna. So what's the claim of the Kohen? The Kohen doesn't have any claim. He got his matnas kahuna, and he didn't have to pay a cent for it. I don't understand the whole thing. What Rashi's saying? What do you mean his claim is against the what claim? What claim does he have? The buyer gave him the matnas kahuna. He didn't charge him anything for it. What claim does the Kohen have against anybody?
It says the butcher stole the Kohen's portion.
Because he initially sold it to him. Even though he deducted the amount from he deducted the amount that he stole by deducting the price to the. Yeah, but he didn't lose anything from it. What's his claim? He didn't lose anything. He got all of the matnas kahuna, and he didn't have to pay for it. What's his claim all about? What do you mean the tabak stole it from him? He got it in his hand without paying for it. What's the stealing?
It says that the Kohanic gifts that were sold to a non-Kohen instead of being given to a Kohen are similar to stolen goods.
Yeah, but those stolen gifts were already given to the Kohen now. The buyer gave them to the Kohen without charging him. So what damage did he suffer that he's got a claim against anybody? I think the world of all the Kohanim, they're great guys, but I mean, why does the Gemora say he's got a claim over here? He's got no claim. What did he lose?
Well, he paid for the image that he wasn't going to keep. If he had to pay for that meat and pay for those gifts to the Kohen, he's paying the butcher for parts that he wasn't getting. If the butcher's charging him for the Kahanic gifts, it's something that just should have gone.
It says menakalo minadamin. It says the tabak takes off for the amount of the meat that was matnas kahuna from the purchase price.
Let me see what this way. Let me just catch the 15. It's a question of who's weighing what. There's this issue about shakal ba'atzmo. What does it mean, the shakal ba'atzmo?
Maybe I got the case wrong. Nosnoi lekohen. I thought menakaloi min hadomim. Yeah, there must be this something. Something's not clear about the case about actually what happened over here. That's what I'm thinking. It's not so clear. Let's go back over here. It's before you go to Rav and try to explain Rav. We got a problem over here. That's what I was trying to explain before. Lo kache menu b'mishkal. So now we have a second case. Case number 2 is that the meat was sold by weights. He bought let's say 2 kilos of meat and he paid 100 shekel for it. He didn't ask for any particular cut of meat. He says, give me give me the 2 kilos of meat. The main thing is he wants 2 kilos, so he gets 2 kilos of meat, and we're understanding that included in those 2 kilos is let's say 1 kilo and 7/8 of that is basar chulin, and 1/8 of that kilo is matnas kuna. That's to be given to a Kohen. So now the Mishnah says no snow leKohen. It's given to the Kohen. I'm assuming that that's the buyer who has the meat. He bought the meat from the butcher. He gives it to the Kohen. He gives the portion that's matnas kuna to the Kohen. So right now the Kohen has the matnas kuna that he was entitled to. So the question is, what do we mean when we say that the Kohen has a claim against anybody, whether it be the lokeach, whether it be the butcher, for anything? What is his loss over here that he's having a claim about anything? The Mishnah clearly states lost to the Kohen. The gifts were given to the Kohen. He has them. It doesn't say that he paid for them. So what's the claim that he has?
It's not the Kohen that has a claim, it's the buyer.
Amarav.
The buyer can collect compensation from the butcher.
That the Mishnah says that. Menaka lo min adamim. The understanding over here is that presumably the understanding is this case is not like the first case. Why is it not like the first case? Because he sold him 2 liters, and over here, since the weight was specified, so the 100 shekel is for the weight that was specified. That's what he was buying. If it would have been 1 liter, he would have paid 50 shekel. If it would have been 2 liters, he's paying 100 shekel. But since the 1/8 of that 2 liters is matnas kuna, so really he shouldn't have paid 100 shekel. Really, he needs to pay 100 minus the value of 1/8. 1/8 of 100 should be deducted. That's all. Because over here,
That's what he sues the butcher for.
okay, so okay, now we go to Rav, though. Now we go to Rav. Rav says, Omer Rav lo shanu ella shokolatzmo. Now we need to know what the lo shanu is. Lo shanu ella shelokach le'atzmo, shokal le'atzmo, aval im shokal loy hatabach, hadin im hatabach. What is that all about?
It says they taught that the buyer has no right to compensation from the Kohen only where he weighed the innards for himself. But if the butcher weighed the innards for him, the claim of the Kohen is against the butcher.
The Kohen? Why does the Kohen have any claim?
He wants to collect the gifts from the buyer.
Doesn't it say that he was given the gifts? It said no the Kohen. The Kohen got his gifts.
I don't see Nosna the Kohen.
Right after it says Lokach Hemenu b'mishkal.
Lo,
Lokach Hemenu b'mishkal.
I don't see
In
that.
that case, it says Nosna the Kohen.
I don't see where you're reading.
Okay, so you see where it says Lokach Hemenu b'mishkal?
No.
That's the last narrow line before the wide lines. Lokach Hemenu b'mishkal.
Okay, I see it. So it says, if, however, he bought the cow's innards from the butcher by weight, the buyer gives the Kohanic gifts to a Kohen, and he deducts the value from the purchase price. Okay, so that's where you're saying the buyer gave it the gifts.
Buyer gave the gifts, and the butcher deducted the price of the gifts from the 100, because we're assuming that when he charged him 100, it was for 2 liters, and since some of those 2 liters involved matnas kahuna, that was that part of the 2 liters. He didn't have any right to sell it. He didn't own it. So he can't sell that. So he's got to. So that amount he's got to deduct from the purchase price.
So I think it's 2 cases, Rabbi. I think the Lakach Hemenu b'mishkal is one case, and then when it says Amar Rav, it's a second case. And in this case, the buyer did not give it to the Kohen.
Oshanu lokach hemenu b'mishkal nos non lekohen demashma shalokeach al korchach nos non lekohen hu yitba damim min hamocher. Rashi says over here that Rav is explaining when he says lo shanu, the din that we just got through saying in the Mishnah. We said the din in the Mishnah that if the meat was sold according to the weight, so then the buyer gives the matnas kuna that was included in that meat to the Kohen, and then he gets to deduct that amount from the purchase price that he paid to the buyer, to the tabach, the butcher. And so Rav is saying, when is that din true? Lo shanu, says Rashi, lo kach menu b'mishkal nosnin lekon. We don't learn that din in the Mishnah that when he bought it with weight, according to weight, he gives it to the buyer gives it to the Kohen. The mashma, says Rashi, da lokeach al korchach nosnin lekohen, that the lokeach has to give it to the Kohen. And he has to give it to the Kohen. He's required to give it to the Kohen. And then he will simply, maybe that's the point. The point is that he the halacha requires him to give it to the Kohen against his will. I'm reading in the Rashi. The Rashi Dibru Maskil Lo Shanu that Phil just read. I'm going over this again. I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Lo Shanu, we did not learn. What did we not learn? We did not learn this din of Lokach Emenu B'Mishkal Nosnin LeKohen. We didn't learn that din, what it says in the Mishnah, which Rashi says parenthetically, the mashma, it's mashma from that din in the Mishnah, that lokeach al korchach nostin lekohen. The lokeach is required, even if he doesn't want to, he's required against his will to give those matnas kuna to the Kohen, even though he paid for them. Vahu yitva. And so in his whole recourse is not against the Kohen, but his recourse is simply to be toveya, to demand, make a claim against the seller, the butcher, for the damim that he paid for this matnas kuna, right? Because he paid 100 shekel for 2 kilos, and 1/8 of those 2 kilos was matnas kuna meat, which he doesn't get. He has to give it. He's got to give it to the Kohen, and we're saying he's forced to give it to the Kohen, even though he paid for it. He's forced to give it to the Kohen. And what about the fact that they was overcharged for the meat? Then that's his claim against the mocher. That's his claim against the butcher that sold him the 2 kilos for 100. So the Rav is saying, when we only learn that din ella shalokach la'atzmo. I'm sorry, ella shokal li'atzmo. That he did the weighing himself. That he did the weighing himself.
That is the purchaser.
Yeah, who's the he? The he is the purchaser, right? Correct. Right. He did it himself. Right. That's when the purchaser does the weighing. Aval. I'm reading now back in the Gemora, the words of Rav. Shokal lo hatabach. If the butcher did the weighing for the lokeach, if he did the weighing, so then hadin im hatabach. Oh.
The Kohen has a claim against the butcher.
Okay, so now let's see what that means. We have a relatively long Rashi over here. Hadin imatabach. That sounds like the Kohen did not get the meat. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how we explain the din of the Kohen is with the din imatabach. What does that mean? Who wants to read that one? Lou, you want to read it?
Yeah, where is it exactly?
It's
Noshanu?
Oshanu is what Phil and I read, and
Ella
yeah.
Shishakel?
Yeah, you can start from there. We didn't do that yet, actually.
Okay. Who le atzmo? He by himself.
For himself, yeah.
For himself. So what's it saying? It's saying he weighed the innards for himself.
Yeah, not necessarily the innards. We're talking about 2 kilos of meat that he wanted, and it happened to be that in those 2 kilos there was matnas kuna in it as well.
Right. Okay. Hadin im hatavach. So the claim is with the butcher.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Trying to find where it is. Let's see. Hadin. Hadin im hatavach. The claim of the Kohen is against the butcher. That is, he can sue only the butcher if he wants to collect the gifts from the buyer. He must pay for them. Okay, so he doesn't have the gifts. If he wants to get it from the buyer, he's got to pay the buyer. If he wants to get it for free, he's got to sue the butcher. Okay, Dino shel Kohen v'ar oro al hatevach hu rav litama de'amar hadin im ha-rishon de tavach Keneged Keganav Roshon Velokeach Hayu Shnei Vikamar Hadin Im Hatevach Alma Rav Leis lay derav chizda. Okay, so the judgment or the claim is of the Kohen. I don't know what va'ar oro is.
His protest or his complaints.
His complaint against the butcher, he is the majority.
No, Rav. That's Rav. Now we're talking about Rav, who said Loshano in the din of the Mishnah.
Okay, so this is like a new sentence. Rav Latame de Amar. Din Rav's reason that he said that the din is with the Rishon, which means the purchaser, that the butcher is a thief. The first one. And the purchaser, I'm not sure what the Rishon refers to.
Remember when we first said this? In other words, what you have over here is that the Gemora is bringing this case with the butcher and the buyer and the Kohen because it resembles the case of that we were talking about originally when you had a Ganav that stole it from the Balabais. And a purchaser purchased the stolen item from the Ganav, and so we had a question: who's the claim of the Balabayas going to be against? Can he claim? And so Rav said over there the din imarishon, meaning the first one in the story, the Ganav. His din is with the Ganav. If he wants to take the item for he has a koach to take it from the Rishon. But Rav Yochanan disagreed. He said that the din is with the din of the Balabais is with the purchaser, which meant that he could take it from the purchaser, just like he would take it from the Ganav without having to pay for it. So over there in that scenario, you have to remember that scenario, that because that scenario is basically resembling the scenario that we have in our in our story over here with the Cohen and the butcher and the purchaser. In other words, who is the one that stole the matnas kuna from this Cohen? And who is the Cohen able to take the matnas kuna away to get it back, to retrieve it without having to pay for it? So, okay, see, we're out of time. We're right in the middle of this Rashi. We're gonna have to
I think
remember.
we should do the Rashi again.
Yeah, we didn't really even finish it, but that's what you have to do. You have to think about these two cases and try to figure out what's the common denominator between these two cases. You got three people, and the question is, the one that was stolen from, does he have a claim? Who does he have a claim against? Does he have a claim against both of these guys? The one that stole it and also the one that purchased it from the thief? Or does he? No, he only has a claim from the ganif that actually stole it from him. And in the case of the butcher, the butcher would seem to be the thief, because he's the one that initially charged for the matnas kuna from the buyer. The buyer bought it. He bought stolen goods. Really, the buyer bought stolen goods when he bought matnas kuna, which is included in that 100 in that 2 liter that he paid 100 for.
Right. So he's like the purchaser who purchased from the thief.
Exactly.
And the thief is then corresponding to the butcher. The butcher is like the thief.
Right.
All right. So we got to read the Rashi again with that understanding.
Yeah. Okay. So remember all this for Yom Rishon.
Oy, I won't be here, Yom Rishon.
Oy.
Oy.
Okay.
Did I tell you I'm going to India?
Yeah, you told us. Okay, so Hebbas. Good. All right.
All right.
Oh, you'll be here tomorrow, though, right?
In Mitzvah Shem, but we're not doing the Gemora tomorrow.
Right. Okay.
Shabbat shalom.
Anyway,
Shabbat shalom to
have a good
Phil.
Shabbos, Phil.
Take care.
Shabbat shalom, Phil. Shkoyach.
All
All
right.
the best. Good to see you as always.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, take care, Rabbi.
Bye.